And I know a lot of brothers who I talked to from a while back who tried to get stuff accomplished, but they were treating their wife wrong, and never did come to pass. It never did. You gotta understand this. You can't deal with this woman, your wife, bad. You can't. Expect for God to bless you. Expect for God to hear you. Verse 13. Go ahead, brother.
And this have ye done again, covering the altar of the Lord with tears, with weeping and with crying out, insomuch that he regardeth not the offering anymore, or receiveth it with good will at your hand.
This is these men who trying to cry to God with an offering, and he said, this is what you did. He don't even regard this at all. I mean, whatever you trying to pray for, he ain't listening to you because of what? Go ahead.
Yet he say, wherefore? Because the Lord has been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth.
He said, hold up. Because the Lord has been witnessing. Understand that, like I tell y'all, this God see y'all and he hear all. What you and your wife doing in the bedroom, he listening. You beating up, you slapping around, you talking bad about to her, you doing all this stuff, just evil stuff to her. Oh, he witnessing that. He got that angel sitting there right looking at you. Both of y'all. But when we dealing with the wife, I mean the husband. Go ahead, brother.
Against whom thou hast dwelt treacherously. Yet is she thy companion, and the wife of thy covenant.
He said, you have dealt treacherously with your wife. And I witnessed this. I'm witnessing you. Talk to her any kind of way. Do her any kind of way. And not treating her like a lady or treating her like the precious thing of your marriage. This is what it's supposed to be for. That's why I try my best to try to show my girls and my son a good example. And this is what, like I told you before, be a role model. And kids are not dumb. They soak this stuff up. They're going to find a husband just like their dad. And you see it all along. Mama go out there and marry this fool, and then a daughter go out there and marry a bigger fool. Then they go all the way down to the third and fourth generation, like as Christ said in Exodus chapter 20. That curse keep coming down from third and fourth generation because they married the same man that they mama or the same woman that they husband, they are daddy married. Coming down. Go ahead.
For did not he make one? Yet had he the residue of the Spirit. And wherefore one? And wherefore one?
Where you at, brother?
Verse 15.
Okay. Start over at 15.
Okay.
All right.
And did not he make one?
Uh-huh.
Yet had he the residue of the Spirit. And wherefore one?
Yes, sir. He made one. The residue of the Spirit. God looks at a man, a husband and wife as one. That's why I took you there. He took Eve from the rib, from him. He looks at us as one. Go ahead.
That he might seek a godly seed. Therefore, take heed to your spirit, and let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth.
He said, take note of this, fellas. Don't deal treacherously with your wife. Or treat her bad. Evil. Why? Go ahead.
For the Lord, the God of Israel, said, He that hated, put away. For one covereth violence with his garment, says the Lord of hosts. Therefore take heed to your spirit, that ye deal not treacherously.
Take heed that you deal not treacherously with her. Because he's witnessing everything you're doing. Like I read verse 13 said, he regarded not your offering anymore, or receiving the goodwill of your hand, meaning that what you're praying for, he ain't gonna regard it. What you asking him for, he not gonna regard it, because what? You're dealing treacherously with your wife. You're dealing with the head. You don't get around to the women. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 10. Believe me, and that's why I took you in Genesis. He said, whatever God put together, let no man put asunder. Meaning that you can't separate this husband and his wife if they committed to each other in marriage. You can't. You can't divorce her and go get another one. Excuse me, you can divorce her, but you can't get another as long as she living. As long as she living. We're going to read that. So you got to understand the difference between fornication and adultery. That's the difference. And the time fornication happened. Bring you up to speed a little bit before a maid, which is a virgin, get married, they have to go into the bridal chamber. And once they go into the bridal chamber, the husband and the wife, they will have intercourse. If he break the seal and see blood, she's pure. But if he don't see blood, guess what? She has been unpure. So that's the only way he can get out of that. That's the only way he can get out of that. But with not the good understanding, you go right here in the New Testament and thinking that you can put your wife away because of fornication. But we're gonna touch on that. We're dealing with the roles right now. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, we're gonna start verse 10. This is what he said here.
And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord. Let not the wife depart from her husband.
He said, unto the married man, do the Lord command. Don't depart from it. Go ahead.
But and if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife.
If you separate, he's telling you, if you depart, let her remain unmarried. But if she come back, let her reconcile to her husband. To her husband. Jump down to verse 39.
The wife is bound by the law as long as her husband lives.
Understand what he's saying right here. The wife is bound by the law as long as her husband is living. Go ahead.
But if her husband be dead, she is at liberty to be married to whom she will, only in the Lord.
You see? Understand what you're dealing with. You got to make sure that you understand this book. As long as your husband is a live wife, you can't say, well, I'm tired of him, I'm going to give me another one. No, you can't do that. You go get a divorce, but you can't get another one. If you get another one, you're going to be committing adultery. As long as he's living. This is big business. Believe it. Just keep moving. Proverbs chapter 23. You can't get this nowhere but Israel. These folks ain't gonna take you to these scriptures. Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 19. And I tell the little girls here, make sure you pay close attention to the role of a husband. This is important for you, so you know how to choose one. How to choose a good one. But if you don't know how to choose a good one, it won't be because I didn't teach you. I taught you. That's why we read this book. Proverbs chapter 23, we'll start verse 19. Still dealing with the husband. Go ahead, brother.
Hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way.
He's telling you to hear. Sons, make sure you hear and guide your way by what? His way of the book. This is your direction right here. This is how you become a man. This is how you become a husband. Go ahead.
Be not among wine bibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh.
Them your partners. Don't be around these wine bibbers, the righteous eaters of flesh. Meaning that people with righteous like to sit up here and beat folks up and cause all type of destruction. That's what he said, righteous eaters of flesh. Go ahead.
For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags.
See what he said? He gonna come to poverty, or they will drown you and become rags, cause you drunk. Anybody need a Bible? Good, okay. Like I said before, this is the characteristics that you don't want to be as a man. For the drunkard, you don't need to be no drunk or glutton, one who all eat all the time, shall become poverty, come to poverty. This is what God telling us as a man. He said, clothe a man with rags. If you have those type of qualities in your life, you'll never become nothing. You're always going to be at the bottom. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 5. We'll read one verse here, verse 8. Those of you got a big responsibility, I'm telling you. And by no means, I'm telling husbands and these young boys today that you're going to accomplish this 100%. It's a work. We just giving you all this right now so you go back and take it and work out your own salvation. That's why we do these lessons. That's why I tell people, you bring some pencil and paper because you're going to say, oh, what he said this, what he said that. You ain't going to remember this, but I got to write it down. I have to go back and refer to my notes. I have to. But it all depends on how important it is to you. First Timothy chapter 5 and verse 8. Listen closely to this. Go ahead.
But if any provide not for his own, and specifically for those of his own house, he has denied the faith and is worse than an infidel.
He's worse than an infidel. I'm an unbeliever. If you don't provide for your household, God looks at you like you're worse than the infidel. I understand people have a little trouble here and there. You working there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking down on men who just in a hard time. I mean, kind of in a hard time right now. You understand that. But if you just sitting there just waiting on your wife to go do this and waiting on your wife to go do that, you got a problem.
That's right.
You got a problem. You got a problem. Believe me, that one thing my daddy taught me, son, whatever you do, you pay your own mortgage and your own light bill. You got to be the man of this household. You got to be the captain of this ship. Period. Because your wife, she can take care of stuff in the household. But now we got women out here doing men's job. And they put themselves in that situation because they choose the wrong man. They choose. Choose the wrong man. You ain't too young to find this out. You get with these young girls, they get older, and believe me, you need to know. The stuff I see out there, me and wives for y'all to get married to, I'm scared for y'all. I'm very scared for y'all. I'm scared for my daughters. Because these men out here today, they looking for a mom. They ain't looking for no man. They looking for a mom, somebody who can take care of them. Not you supposed to take care of her. That's why we in this house, in our household, we got to be a great example, a great role model. I understand different situations people come through. It ain't your fault a lot of times you have to be raised in a single parent household. But this book will help you through. You see people that are doing it right, follow them. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 24. I'm still dealing with this man because he's very, very important. He's the key. Proverbs 24, and we're going to start at verse 27. He's the key. Proverbs 24, we'll first start with verse 27. Go ahead, brother, when you read it.
Prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field,
Yes, sir.
and afterwards build thine house.
See, that's the thing. A man, he got to prepare for that wife. And afterward, you build that house. Or afterward, you go get your place. Or afterward, you make sure you take care of her. Because she looking at you to do your work as being a man and a husband. You looking at nobody else. She don't supposed to be looking at nobody else. She's supposed to be looking at you for guidance. You take care of her. Period. Jump down to verse 20, verse 30. Go ahead.
I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vine vineyard of the man void of understanding.
Yes, sir. See, he went by the field of the sloth and the sorry. And he seen how his house it was and his yard was. Go ahead.
And lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof, and the stone walls thereof was broken down.
See, you gotta take care of the yard, man. Cut that grass. Get out there and make sure the house ain't falling apart. Prepare for these things. Put stuff aside. So I tell people, I tell my kids, look, man, we got money, but we ain't got money. Because stuff gonna break down. Stuff gonna happen. And believe me, when the break down happen, she gonna be looking at you like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? I don't know. You less than a man, you sit up there talking about, oh, what you gonna do? No, that's your job. He said, you prepare your household. You prepare the way. Go ahead.
Verse 32. Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction.
Yes, sir. That's a man. When he sees what's going on, he receiving instruction. Go ahead.
Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep.
Yes, sir.
So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man.
See, when you sit up there and you being sorry all the time, you gotta be in your house sleep all the time. You gotta be out there to be about your business and taking care of your job, taking care of your household bill, so you can prepare the way. Believe me, first time I bought my house, I didn't sit up there and consult my wife about buying a house. I bought the house because of what I made. I don't care what she made. I had to pay the bills. I don't go out there and say, well, I'm gonna see, can we come together so we can have this? No, it's the man's responsibility. He's supposed to make sure that he can pay the rent. He can pay the bills. She helped him when he needed, but we got to come together. I need your half, and you need my half, so we can make this work. We got it all mixed up, y'all. That's why you got a lot of people out here in this economy losing their house. Cause of what? One person fell on a hard time and can't provide the other half of the rent. If they went on one income, which is supposed to be the man, and when hard time hit, bam, they ain't got no problem. They can still survive. But when you going off two incomes, you can't make it without two. That's when the problem comes in a marriage, from a husband's perspective. He got to be one carry the load. Period. We finished with that? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 22. Well, excuse me. Oh, yeah.
First chapter.
Yeah. I skipped one. Did we do 22 already?
Proverbs chapter 22. You get it.
Okay. Well, we'll go to Proverbs chapter 22. Excuse me, I skipped one. Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 28. We get back first thing. I want to hit this one. Yeah, verse 28. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 28. Go ahead.
Remove not the ancient landmark which thy fathers have set. Seest thou a man diligently in his business?
Yes, sir.
He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men.
See what he said right here? He said, seest that thou man diligent in his business. Meaning that you taking care, you paying all your bills on time. And when you go to the bank, they ain't got no problem about giving you no loan, no money. Because you diligent about your business. They be sitting there calling you. Hey, you need some money? But when a man ain't diligent, they gotta go get cosigns.
That's right.
They gotta go get people to help them. Believe me, I was there too. I was there before. Had to get people to help them, just to co-sign, just for me to do this and do that. So I had to grow up and be a man. I gotta make sure I take care of this business of this household and make sure my credit is okay, making sure I can go out there and get my own stuff. That's a diligent man. Being a husband, so when wife come in, that make a woman feel good when she say, oh, I know my man gonna do it. Make her feel good. But when you got a man that ain't gonna do it, you gotta look for another man to help you. That ain't good. That ain't good. Then you start asking your wife for different favors. You know he can provide for you, so you do this little job for me. Y'all put two and two together. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Favors. You don't want your woman out there being subject to another man, period. My wife did not never ask no money for no man. We got a big problem. Very big problem. And she understands that. Even before we were married. I take care of that. I'm gonna get out there before I get in trouble. Go back up to verse 26. Go back up to verse 26. 26 and 27. Proverbs 20, we in Proverbs chapter 22, we're gonna read verse 26 and 27. Yeah. We understand that this is need to get out there. And by no means it's not attack against men. It's the foundation. It's to show you what you're supposed to be doing. This is a work. You work toward this. I believe my daddy gave me straight puberty, you know what, all day, every day. I thought he was just all on my case for nothing. But he showed me how to be a man. And believe me, a lot of the boys out there today, they don't know how to be a man because their mama helped raise them. Not saying a woman can't help raise a son, but the qualities of being a man, only a man can give it to him. I tell my son all the time, you look at me, I'm your example. Whatever I do, you do. Period. Verse 26, go ahead.
Be not thou one of them that strike hands, or of them that are sureties for debts.
He said, don't be the one that's always in debt. Can't pay your bills. Running from the collectors. I was like that. Go ahead.
If thou hast nothing to pay, why should he take away thy bed from under thee?
If you got nothing to pay, why you take a bed under thee? Meaning that count the cost before you go out there borrowing this stuff. See if you can pay it back. Don't pay it back thinking that, well, I can. Don't sit up there and just think you can wish this stuff back together. And that's why people today, when they get them income tax checks, they go out there and buy a car. No, they can't afford a car. 3 or 4 months later, the man ain't worried about it. He gonna get that money from the income tax check. He gonna let you rent that car for about 3 or 4 months, and he coming to get it. And he gonna resell it again.
Yes, yes.
Our people, Israel, he does like this all the time. Because we sit up there and think that we gonna just all of a sudden can hide the car behind the house and he gonna never find it. It's crazy. Let's go to 1 Timothy now, verse 3. We understand the roles, y'all. That man is very, very important. That husband. It's a working situation. 1 Timothy chapter 3. We'll start at verse 1. And a lot of times, you gotta understand, in order for you to run God's business, you gotta be able to run your own household.
First, exactly.
First. If you can't run your own household, that's why we got so many of these churches in just disarray, just turmoil, just crazy stuff going on. A lot of times, go back and look at the pastor kids. You can tell a lot about their kids. A lot. A lot of these big time ministers, they don't say very much about their kids, do they? These jokers all homosexuals, cracked out, doped out, all of that. They don't say very much about it. But you'll hear it every now and then. Because why? They ain't taking care of their business in this book of being a good husband. Then they're going to try to go and be a good preacher. It don't work together. You don't see right here. Go ahead. Verse 1. 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1.
This is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desires for good work.
Yes, sir.
A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife,
Husband of one wife. Go ahead.
diligent, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach.
Apt to teach. Go ahead.